So I'm Dr. Gina Morishige, and I'm very delighted to be here with all of you today and just share what's available to you. I think a lot of people are unaware of what's available to them in terms of holistic medicine. My practice is a virtual practice. I work remotely. I do have a clinic in Berkeley, California, if you need to see me in person. But the bulk of it, I started in 2010, and I've always been passionate about the web of combining the science of Western medicine, the science that we have available to us, and holistic medicine. So I started with Asian medicine, Chinese medicine, Chinese herbology. I incorporated Japanese medicine into that as well. And I started studying functional medicine because that presented, I'm so sorry, you probably couldn't hear me too well. So the functional medicine is the lab, is the science. It gives me the diagnostic tools to look directly into your body. And that paired really well with the Asian medicine. So I started my practice with functional medicine, functional genomics, which is epigenetic testing, with the Chinese medicine and Japanese medicine. So in my clinic, what I do, I have a program with chronic disease or diseases that, you've gone to every doctor and nothing's helping. Nothing's really turned the page and stuck. Or you keep hitting remission on something. And then back to the disease state a few months later. So what we do is I run all of your labs, including your DNA. And when you're facing chronic disease, a lot of that disease, as was mentioned here, destroys your cells. And so when you have mitochondrial dysfunction or a cellular disease, you need to repair that ATP production, repair those cells. And what typically happens early on with self-destruction is it creates this storm of inflammation. Whether it's cancer or pain or stress, COVID, what we see is inflammation. So what I do is I look at you from a body, mind, and spirit level. And when we incorporate all those pieces, we can start to treat the mind, the spirit, the emotions that correlate to the physical distress. And so we were treating you through labs and functional medicine and Chinese medicine with herbs and supplements. We're looking at the whole body. So this is more of a longevity approach. It's not just about treating the disease. It's about treating you so you can live a more sustainable life. And so moving forward, some of the labs I do are particularly focused on the gut. And when we look at new science today, we see that we have just as many microbes as we do, which is all the good bacteria, which we do as we do cells. So it's a fair balance. So if something missing in the gut, in the body, on a bacterial level, then cells are going to react the same. And so when we take all three pillars, which is your mind, your body, and your spirit, and we put that under the umbrella of disease, do you know the one disease that inflammation? So inflammation is something that not just affects one part of the body or pain, but when it's on a cellular level, systemically, it affects the cardiovascular system. That's where we get all these cardiovascular brain. But it also goes straight to the brain. So we're looking at neurodegenerative disorders. We're looking at optimal aging. We're looking at Alzheimer's, mood disorders, mental disease. And when we collect the gut, which has all these microbes, has 99% of your serotonin in the gut, then when there's gut dysbiosis and we repair that, these toxins in your diet, these toxins in the environment do not slip through into the bloodstream, which is a direct access to all of these other systems in your brain. So what we do in my practice is correct all of this. The PEMF mat itself really helps restore you back to that state of homeostasis, that state where your body remembers, I am safe, it's okay to heal and not attack this area of disease in an inflammatory way. So a lot of the time what happens with pain and disease is our body is in a traumatic state. It's saying, wait, something's wrong. Let me keep attacking this. And so I can remind you to stop and slow down. But sometimes that disease is no longer there. It's just a memory and it hasn't been corrected. So the PEMF mat is really great at correcting that attack on the system, bringing you back into homeostasis. And so is medicines such as acupuncture. Things are very similarly. All of these energy medicines have the same focus, which is restoring homeostasis so your body can do what it does best. Along with that, there are complex diseases. With those complex diseases, our body needs help. Say a gut bacteria is wiped out. We don't know which bacteria is wiped out unless we run the right labs to detect it. We don't know what nutrients are missing unless we run those labs and detect it. So when we combine all of these therapies together, we get a really great roadmap on how we need to treat the body, to treat the human on every pillar. And when we know, and when you know, and have proper education, you can start to restore your faith and your body and allow yourself to heal. So that is the crux of my practice, is restoring and empowering you to do what your body does best, which is protect you and heal you and share your love and your time with your family and friends. So that's pretty much what I have in terms of my practice, but I want to share just a couple of testimonials and how I incorporate this into my practice with the PEMF mat. So whether my clients have a mat at home for themselves or they come to me in the clinic, one of my patients, I love using this on her and me. She has MAS, which is a multiple autoimmune syndrome. In itself, she has multiple diagnoses when she came to me. So I'm treating her and helping to restore her body through functional medicine and Asian medicine. But she comes in to me for this PEMF mat to help restore her system and really decrease the inflammation, really decrease the anxiety, and improve her mood through the process, which has been incredible for her healing through certain protocols. She then brought her son to me, who has been struggling with anxiety and depression and insomnia. And he came in one treatment on the PEMF mat and he was able to sleep. And this was after months of trying to get into colleges and just a lot of stress. One treatment, he was able to sleep. He's coming back, so we have a more long, sustainable, practice for him. But it just took one. And in Chinese medicine, when we treat children, they respond very quickly because there's all this yang energy. When you already have that energy and you give your body just a little bit to nudge it in the right direction, it takes it and it runs with it. But as we age, our yang and our yin starts to get out of balance a bit due to lifestyle, due to having children, due to working constantly. So we have to restore those reserves and bring you back to balance and sometimes give you a little extra to work with. Another client came to me, it was 2 weeks ago. She had a dental procedure and she struggles with fungus and yeast disorders, very prone to that. And when she came to me, I was getting her off of antibiotics, restoring her gut, and she had to go in for a dental procedure. And when she went in, I do a lot of pre and post-operative preparation. So she first came to me for acupuncture to do some acupuncture along the jawline and decrease her pain levels going into it. She was able to go into the procedure without pain, but she came out with a thrush. The thrush really kind of took over after that procedure. And I had seen her about 4 days later. I put her on the PEMF mat, and after about 2 days, it completely resolved. She didn't have to do antibiotics. We kept her on her gut protocol, and she's doing fantastic. She's healing really well. And, the PEMF mat itself also helps with bone and wound healing. So her entire recovery from the oral surgery she was better by the end of the week. It was like it never happened. So that was really fantastic to see for her. And keep her on her, her protocol of just restoring her gut and her body without antibiotics coming in and wiping everything out. Yeah. Another patient I've had recently, she was about 73 years old, and she had a horrible fall and a terrible concussion that knocked her out. She came to me with post-concussion issues. I was doing some acupuncture on her, helping her restore her balance, but her blood pressure and her diabetes were just off the charts. So I was prescribing some herbal medicine, and I rebuilt her nutrition plan and got her blood pressure and her diabetes in check as quickly as possible. But she was also having, lingering concussion issues, which can last quite a while. And so we put her on the PEMF mat. Her dizziness started to really subside. She was finally able to sleep. She was having really bad insomnia since the event. She was having, slower cognitive function just from the inflammation itself. But after about 2 treatments, she's feeling and doing a lot better. She's able to go on her walks with her friends, whereas for about a month, she wasn't able to do that at all. She wasn't able to drive. Now she's driving. So just with a month of treatments, really dialed in treatment, really dialed in nutrition, along with the PEMF mat, she's back to living her normal life. So that's just a few recent testimonials from some of my patients about the mat and combining that with holistic therapies. So I'm happy to see you all here, and there's a lot available to you. So feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to just jump on a call with anyone if you have questions, if you have friends or family members that you're curious about. I don't charge anything, just to have a conversation and inform you about what you have available to you. Okay.